Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Another newsworthy day in this United States of the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably news going on everywhere right now.
There's probably enough things happening in just Jakarta for us to have an entire episode.
Indonesia.
We're not going to limit ourselves to just Jakarta, are we?
I don't think that Jakarta actually made the cut this week.
Sorry, Jakartans.
Probably the most erotic adventures happening in Jakarta, though.
I bet so.
Which adventure is that?
People are exploring themselves.
Yeah, sexy spy situations.
There's a lot of international intrigue. The original name for this podcast.
International intrigue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a very death in the Nile situation.
Oh, with who's in that again?
Army Hammer?
100% fucking cannibal. Hammer.
Army Hammer. The Lone Ranger, I think we've established.
Yeah, I started watching that last night. Watched a little bit of it.
Death in the Nile or the Lone Ranger?
The Death of the Nile.
Okay.
And yeah, it's hard to get past the fact that he's 100% fucking cannibal.
Fair.
Does it feature cannibalism, or is the viewer, are you left wondering, is the mystery he's a cannibal?
I think the mystery is that he off screen is going to he's gonna
That's right.
have a sexual misadventure. There's not enough sexual misadventure and there's a bunch of sexy dancing up front though.
He can soon Miss Marple.
Does Poirot and Miss Marple, do they ever team up?
I don't know. Do you have that issue, Mike?
He does team up with Jessica from Murder, She Wrote on one part.
Mm-hmm.
They fall in love?
No, but they fuck. I mean, they raw dog fuck.
Well, yeah.
They have raw dog sex, and he blows a load inside her, and that's canon.
Oh, Mike, that's some
but
Agatha Christie that
but I
people
just want to
don't.
make it clear they're not in love. It's just for pleasure.
It's just physical pleasure. It's
and
just
they're such damaged people because they've been around so much murder
Mhm.
that they have to murder and death and just the absolute depths of the human soul they've seen.
Right.
So when they do a stand up 69 and
who's the one who,
and he's upside down. Yeah, stand up 69. The man's upside down.
is he holding?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's her. She holds him
Okay.
upside down.
Okay. Yeah,
And,
well, obviously, she's got,
right.
she's pretty wiry.
And at that moment is whenever that's just like a release for all their bleak outlooks on
Right.
life.
Yeah.
That they see everything as a possible victim or a possible predator.
Their entire life is complicated murder.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's,
Exactly. And then, but at that moment, while they're stand up 69 and their muscles, poised because it's a precarious move.
right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that exerted. And then they're, they have they both have a face full of genitals.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment that's the only time they're able to forget the fact that at any point in time, there's a dead body that's going to spring up around them.
Well, you know that Agatha Christie's collection of short stories was called Face Full of Genitals.
I didn't know that.
Wait, was that her short stories, or I thought that was her autobiography?
Short stories. I think there's a version containing multiple subtitles that includes.
Yeah. Well, I know that one of the first erotic spaghetti westerns was Fistful of Genitals.
Oh, we're really starting off right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I really feel good about this.
True form.
I've always heard that spaghetti actually originated in China.
Yes.
And was brought to Italy through the overland trade route, popularized by Marco Polo. Is that true?
Marco.
I've just been told it. I'm not reporting this. I'm not.
In terms of something that I've always been told,
Polo.
I've also always been told that thing.
Marco Polo. That's an example of the game Marco Polo.
Right. That's how long spaghetti noodles used to be. You got lost holding either end of the noodle, I guess.
It's storming like crazy here.
Is it?
I just heard the siren.
Is it a real gully washer?
It is.
Yeah.
I should have gone outside and got my annual bath.
Do you soap up beforehand? Do you have a cake of soap? You have some lye soap that you just kind of powder all over yourself and just let it rinse off.
You use lava soap with pumice.
Oh.
Shout to the heavens, clean me, God.
Clean me, God. Yeah.
Heavenly deity, bathe me.
That's right.
Wash away my sins and my dirt.
Oh, if the siren keeps going on, I'll have to go podcast from the closet.
What kind? Is it a tornado siren?
I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Let me check.
Surely it has to be a tornado siren. You can't have, for the international listener in the United States, tornadoes are so prevalent that many towns are equipped with sirens that play to warn people tornadoes have been spotted in the area. Please seek shelter immediately. Yes. And Kevin is ignoring that warning.
Sirens. They're sexy ladies that.
Oh no, it's just the thunderstorm warning.
They call you outside only to be swept up into the clouds.
Yeah. They do that.
Worth it.
They
do that come hither thing with their fingers.
That's right.
No, there's a tornado warning.
The funnel's just shaking. Oh. Wait, whoa, what's happening?
What's happening? We're getting something. Something's coming through on this line. This breaking news. Oh, ladies and gentlemen,
shit.
What is happening?
Who is that?
What is happening?
It's Mark Ryan.
Oh, that is his name.
I don't know what to make of this.
We haven't even introduced anybody. Why do we introduce the guy who abandoned us?
Well, now we can really do it.
On
Dad? Are you talking about my dad?
Right. He didn't abandon us. He was never. I think abandonment means that you were there for a while and then left. He just stopped showing up. Well, I guess that's abandonment. That is.
Yeah, that's kind of the definition. Yeah.
Stretching up some hard memories for Mike. Apparently, that's
Kevin, what are you doing?
I got a tornado warning going on.
We can't hear it though. He thinks I don't think we can hear it.
For the listener, Kevin is actually taking shelter. Mark is telling Kevin to ignore the warning sirens in town.
I say it too. The only way you can really defeat a tornado is by challenging it.
It is always a good idea to go outside to check to see if it's coming.
Obviously.
Yeah. Right.
Go outside, open up a bottle of Alpha Brain Monkey Mindset, and scream.
Oh wait, the siren ended. I could go back.
You
now.
won't have me,
Mike. I have to tell you something. I was watching something. It had to be YouTube, where it was something in between something commercial played, and it was an advertisement for. I wish I'd written down what it was. I didn't realize that things were actually being advertised to help develop your alpha brain. And it lended a lot of credence to the product you're developing.
I mean, we're trying to, unless it's the actual Alpha Brain Monkey Mindset.
No, it's not that. It wasn't.
That's where we have several lawsuits ongoing with a lot of these people who are using the terminology, or as we call it in the business, phraseology.
Okay.
That we invented here, and it's illegal, and we will not only see them sued, but we will see them. We're going to settle this out of court, and we're going to settle it in an octagon.
Sounds like a really good idea.
My question about the octagon.
Yeah.
Will Chuck Norris be there? And whose side will he be on?
I would say Chuck has the Alpha Brain Monkey Mindset. He got it kind of the old-fashioned way.
Isn't that the only way?
Well, no. I mean, we've figured out a lot of plants and herbs and just special
rare earth elements.
ground up. Yeah, certain dirts from certain parts of the country, just certain types of urine, and like we.
God damn it!
What if you put some dirt from Transylvania in there? What would happen?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's frightening. I don't even want to think about that. That might be maybe we do like a special Halloween Alpha Brain Monkey Mindset edition. You know how like they have like shamrock shakes around St. Patty's Day.
They're really good.
Like pumpkin spice. Maybe we have Transylvanian. Yeah, we'd call it Transylvanian mud. And it's Alpha Brain Monkey Mindset with some Transylvanian dirt, and you mix it up in a protein smoothie you mix it in with bone broth.
With what?
Bone broth.
Bone. Okay. Oh,
you ever drank bone broth?
I don't think I've ever. I think
you know what? Honestly,
I'm sure I've had
that
it.
explains why you're so foggy a lot of times.
Do you ever? I'm curious about the packaging.
I'm remembering one time when a ball was thrown in your direction, and you like it had already hit the floor, and you suddenly reached out to grab it. And I'm telling you, if you get some Alpha Brain bone broth. Alpha Brain bone broth is that we sell that, and I mean that's a quick way to the Alpha Brain Monkey Mindset.
You should call it bro broth.
Ooh, also good.
That seems like it's aimed at your clientele.
It's not a bad idea, but we allow women to drink it too. We don't want to exclude any women.
Right. Women like to be allowed to do things. I think that's pretty magnanimous of you to.
That's because that's how we are. It's a more enlightened thing. So,
why you have a successful marriage is you allow your wife to do things.
That's why we're gonna let a woman do a bunch of stuff.
Like what?
Most things.
Oh man.
Example.
Drink bone broth. Cook the bone broth. Warm up the bone broth.
Maybe we should talk about.
Listen. You warm up the bone broth, and you put the Transylvanian dirt in there, and then you take a sip of it before you hand it to me.
So they get to taste, essentially determine if you're about to be poisoned. I have a big gulp. That's there.
Listen, I love watching a couple gals go fist to fist, foot to foot in the octagon. I mean, they fight on the same size octagon as I do. The only difference being there's not barbed wire on the walls on theirs. That's just
barbaric.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that I am a barbarian in a lot of ways, which is another line of pills that we have. It's called the Alpha Brain Barbarian pills, and there's also the Alpha Brain Barbarian brew, which is it's a cold brew. It's a coffee.
Oh yeah.
But it's got more caffeine, and it's got more nitrates in it than normal coffee, which coffee doesn't have any nitrates, but we've figured out a way to inject nitrates in there.
And like hot dog nitrates, like what you get in processed meat nitrates?
It's nitrates in the same way that they're, yes, exactly. Like, how you feel really ready to go after you eat 4 or 5 hot dogs?
Yeah, sure.
What if you just had one very, very bitter black cup of coffee?
Right.
Oh.
And you can get that same feeling from that, but more.
So I wouldn't have to spend the time eating those hot dogs?
Yeah, you wouldn't have to spend all that hot dog time. You wouldn't have to,
Well, do you get any of the hot dog flavor?
Oh yeah, it's important
in the coffee.
It's an earthy flavor. It's kind of an earthy, like if you drop the hot dog, it's like, and then ate it. It's somewhere in there.
So a filthy hot dog that's your.
Well, not filthy, but I mean, what's more American than dropping a hot dog during the 4th of July and picking it up and eating it? Because as an American, guess what we don't do? We don't waste food.
Well,
I kind
don't think that's
Are
true.
the nitrates extracted from hot dogs specifically, or is it
But
other?
they're extracted from some of the places that you get nitrates for hot dogs.
Like what? Like where?
I mean, pork, pangolin, whatever. Like All kinds
Pangolin.
Pangolin?
all kinds of.
Aren't those like the rarest animals in the world or something? One of the
They
most
taste so
They're
endangered.
just big. They're just big armadillos.
Yeah.
See, how many armadillos you seen dead on the side of the road?
I haven't seen any pangolin dead on the side of the
Well,
road.
I know, but they're like armadillos. Imagine one of those.
Right.
Imagine one of those armadillos had a longer tail.
I was going to say,
So
if you've never
what?
seen any on the side of the road, then there must be a lot around.
Well,
They
that's
haven't
true.
been getting hit by cars.
They don't even live around here.
They don't?
Pangolin? No, pangolin live down south.
South America?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's south of here. Alpha Brain Barbarian Brew. I'm not going to tell women not to drink it. I would advise against it
Why would you advise against
because
it?
there's a lot of hormonal. There's a lot of hormonal things that it might gum up the works. I would if a gal was going to drink Barbarian Bone Brew, Alpha Brain Barbarian Bone Brew, I would definitely suggest talking to a gynecologist, a registered gynecologist.
Not one of these
Gynecologist.
fly-by-night
Right.
street gynecologists.
I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. I don't know where you live. This is international. I don't know where you live. I don't know if no quacks. In fact, that's actually a tattoo that I got. It says no quacks.
Quacks.
And it's got a crazy. It's got the doctor. It's got Jack Elam as the doctor from Cannonball Run as a doctor with the crazy eyes, holding up a stethoscope or holding up a big injector and smelling his finger.
So you guys ready to get started here?
Yeah.
Boy,
Wow,
oh
Brian.
boy.
I tell.
Oh, boy.
You're
Yeah.
excited.
I'm very excited.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with
I am Brian Camp.
I'm Alpha Brain Brosif Mike Wiebe, but I'm a Brosif that can hang out with the gentle Josephs. I don't know. I don't have a good rhyme. I honestly, guys, I haven't had my Alpha Brain Bro Brew in about 24 hours
oh no.
Mhm.
because of the embargo, and so there's actually there's a special ingredient that we get from the Chernobyl area. There's certain type of wolf gland that you can only get from the Chernobyl area, and ever since the whole thing over there, the contretemps, as you call it, I haven't been able to get some of the main ingredients for Alpha Brain Bro Brew and Barbarian Brew and Alpha Brain Bro Broth, and I'm feeling a little bit off. So if I stumble mentally today,
Uh-huh.
Sounds like you're kind of addicted.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm addicted to excellence, I guess is what you would say.
You seem a little foggy.
I feel a little foggy.
A little foggy.
If things don't starting next week, I'm actually headed out over there in that direction with some dudes. We're gonna kind of go in there and just grab some of those wolves ourselves. Take care of this on our own.
That's the mindset.
Who else is
Mhm.
Who else is here with us?
Oh, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have a true connoisseur of urine. It's Mark Ryan.
Oh, wow.
He loves it when we talk about it. He's never asked us to stop. We haven't talked about it in several episodes, but he's here on time, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Damn.
So I would like for you to find any kind of recording anywhere of me complaining about the urine talk.
Oh, this is classic. This is classic Mark.
This is a completely projected thing on me that I have any problem. I did get very tired of it, by the way.
This is how
he does it. This is how he does it.
Are we in Victorian England? Because I feel like I'm walking under gaslight.
All right, find the tape.
Jack the Ripper is going to kill us, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think the listener understands the risk Mike is taking right now by standing up to Mark. Like, it's
True.
We can do this when we're all recording and people are going to hear it. But no, when this is
Probably
over,
because
it's
I'm
going
half
to be hell to
crazed
pay.
because I haven't had my bone broth.
You're a quart down on urine right now, Mike. I'm surprised you can stand.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That is going to be affected by the alpha brain monkey mindset pills, and then so it's sort of like
Getting all flustered.
a snake eating its own delicious tail when you are doing you therapy. I know we're here. I know this is some of my business I'm bringing in. I know we're here to tell the news.
Right.
You guys ready to get started here?
I'm ready.
Ryan, are you ready for the news?
Yes.
I was worried. Mark?
I think
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
Kevin, are you ready?
I was born ready for the goddamn news.
Should we ask the listener if they're ready and then pause for a second
Listeners,
and then assume they answer?
If everybody
in the
wait,
affirmative?
I want everybody to focus, clear your mind, and just decide right now collectively, are you ready for the news? And if you're ready for the news, it's going to happen. Right. Okay, everybody, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Cutting this part out.
probably wise. Probably wise.
Yeah.
Our first story comes to us from the Metro in the UK.
Metro, riding on the Metro.
It's like a tabloid newspaper.
Short for metropolitan.
Oh,
Yes.
Metropolitan.
Metropolitan. It means
kind of
that
ice cream?
It's a one flavor ice cream. Neapolitan, 3 flavors.
I prefer the Metropolitan.
I do too. Neapolitan sucks. I said it.
What? That's the only way I like strawberry ice cream.
Vanilla and strawberry. It's just not a good combo.
And none of those are any good. Like they cheapen all 3 and then give you like the crappiest version of all 3.
You don't have to mix them; they're not swirled together. You get to eat each separately.
But in a scoop, you're gonna get one's gonna
Gotta be careful. You gotta scoop careful.
They're touching too close.
They're touching, but you can scoop carefully. I know Mark's leaving this in, so
Yeah.
this is good ice cream talk. I know he's a fan.
So, so this comes to us from the Metro. I don't know how it works in the rest of the world.
Metropolitan, right, Mike?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't know how it works in the rest of the world, but this Monday, April 18th, is tax day here in the U.S. So I've got a tax-related story. The story itself is set in England, however, and I think they pay their taxes in January, but it just bear with me. For over 30 years, Cassandra Latham Jones has been the official witch for the village of St. Buryan in Cornwall, England. She offers traditional witching services such as tarot card readings, ritual magic, sea magic, which I believe is a magic we haven't talked about before, dark arts.
How do you spell sea magic?
SEA.
Okay, because there's another kind of sea magic that I've had to deal with before.
What kind is that?
I'm not. Just move on.
The dark arts, spells, and wart charming.
Oh,
What? Wart charming.
Hitting on warts.
Want to make a wart fall in love with you? This is the woman you go to.
What is it? So what is sea magic?
It didn't explain what sea magic was.
Oh, that sea magic.
SEA, like the ocean
magic.
Like
Yeah,
the
what
sea
is-
hag,
what is
like the
SEA
sea hag
magic?
practices sea
Yeah.
magic.
I would imagine it's Kraken summoning,
Oh yeah, Cthulhu summoning.
killing fish, making fish die.
Turning water into ice or steam.
Yeah.
I can do that in my kitchen.
Well, that's sea magic. You're
Oh.
practicing magic when you do that.
Sea magic. Something with seaweed.
Having a horde of goons at your disposal.
Like only if they had webbed appendages. I think.
Does she live in the sea? Does she have gills?
Is she the witch that came from the sea?
Oh man, that is.
We watched that together. I don't think the audience knows what that is.
Oh, they
we
know.
Don't, we don't
They
want them
have
to
a
watch
sense.
it.
No, it's INS canon that it's the most disturbing movie we've ever seen.
Somehow I doubt that.
I mean,
It's up there.
It's up there.
Okay.
It unsettled me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, it is. It's unsettling. I think is the.
Hey, that movie was banned in England and called a quote video nasty.
See?
Yes, that is true.
This isn't full circle yet, but it's starting to feel like it might be on the road
Full
to
half
it.
circle.
The arc is forming.
So she is also the only person in England who is allowed to make tax deductions for expenses related to her magical spells and potions. Apparently, in 1996, she went down to the tax office, wrote village witch as her occupation, and at least the article suggests she was the only person ever granted tax exemptions in England for being a witch.
Is that not just I mean, they have to. England does the same thing as we do, where if you're a religious entity, you don't get taxed.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I mean, they got the Well, no, they don't.
They don't have the Vatican. That's in Italy.
I know. That's what I said. I halfway through the fucking word, I said no. I said they got the and then I said no. Like, review the tapes. I know where the Vatican is. I haven't had my fucking alpha brain in it's been 3 weeks now since this whole Ukraine bullshit's happening.
Real foggy.
Yeah.
The fucking wolf gland's a big part of it. And it can't be a regular wolf gland. I don't know if it's radioactive, but something's happened to him over there.
That's got to be real hard for you, Mike. I'm sorry.
The Vatican, it's in Rome, whatever.
What?
Godfather Part 3. I've seen it.
She says she is, quote, no different from anyone else in the service industry, but my expenses are slightly unusual. She also added, quote, one thing I will say is that if you're going to become a village witch, don't expect to make a lot of money. It's not a good career move if you want to be well off.
So
No,
is she maybe different from other people in the service industry in that she doesn't actually provide a service?
I mean,
is that a difference?
Well, it sounds like she's just like a psychic. Like, you go to her and you just say, hey, I need my neighbors to get rickets or whatever. And she, like, you know.
Is that what psychics do?
Well, I mean, no, that's what witches do.
Okay.
Psychics, you go and then they say, like, you got a handsome, swarthy man's going to come into your life and grease you up real good. But
I've heard that exact thing from a psychic before. That's crazy.
They know how to read you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the witch is probably just cast. It's like, you know, it's like going to life coach or something like that. It's the same thing as a life coach or a psychologist.
Do life coaches have work
or
charming?
A psychiatrist. It's exactly the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing. That's why Popeye kept hanging out with the sea hag.
Yeah. You know, that you go in and, you know, psychiatrists, they give you some pills. She gives you, instead of pills, she fucking squeezes a newt to death, throws it in a lukewarm bucket, spins it around, throws it out. The way the guts are laid out, she'll go like, you've got the dark humors.
You got rickets.
This sound like you know a lot about this witching, village witching.
I know a lot about the occult. You don't become a class 4 sound bather without learning a thing or two about the occult. I don't know if the UK does that thing where religious organizations are exempt, because it seems like she could. Because can't you do that here? Couldn't you prove to be tax exempt with your witching business if you were able to prove that you're a religion?
I'm not an accountant.
It's still a business, regardless, your religion is.
Hey, isn't that what the church is, man?
I don't know what point you just.
You ever think about that, man? The business of getting tithing, man.
You've just blown my mind, Mike. I'm speechless.
If you're in junior high or high school, or you're kind of a dumb community college kid,
there's nothing wrong with community college.
I hope you can put your mind back together. I hope your mind all over the wall, that you're able to put it back together. If you're smoking pot for the first time and you're listening to that, Jesus Christ!
Oh yeah, you just completely shattered your worldview with.
What do you get if you're religious tax exempt stuff?
You just don't pay income tax. I think you still have to pay
like if I was the preacher at a church, I'd have to pay income tax, right?
I think
individual income tax. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The church doesn't pay any income tax.
But the checks that I get are from the church.
Right. So they're not paying. Would they still pay payroll tax? This is the worst discussion we've ever had.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Let's
Mark, you need to cut all this out.
Tax
But
chunk.
All right. Well, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't want to.
right, for our international listeners in the United States, there are certain nonprofits and religious entities that are exempt from paying taxes based on their structure and the work they do throughout the year. It's highly controversial. I really hit that S sound. Kind of proud of myself.
The are the Scientologists, are they tax exempt?
Controversial.
Yes, that's considered a religion. They're tax exempt. They're very proud of it.
because they went crazy over it. Those assholes.
They like took over they kept getting people recruited, like hired into the IRS so that they could push for the tax exempt status because they weren't always.
That's how you do it.
Tax
That's
exempt.
how you do it.
And a lot of lawyers.
What are you talking? Why is everybody looking at me? I don't. Just because I represent celebrities.
Well, lawyers are attracted to Scientology.
Makes
I've
sense.
heard that.
Boy, I don't know what you're. That's not a copy of Dianetics behind me. My mom gave me that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just say shout out to Witchy Poo.
No, her name is Cassandra Latham Jones.
Where does Witchy Poo come from?
Like I think she was a bad guy in the HR Puff and Stuff's The Bugaloos.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Really?
Yeah.
Witchy Poo.
I thought that was Benita Bazaar.
Witchy Poo is HR Puff and Stuff. And I think Benita Bazaar is, yeah.
That will remain in for sure because that is
podcast is for one person. But they fucking appreciate it. If they ever hear this,
right?
If they're not already dead.
I mean, that's why it's international. It's one person. It's a podcast in search of one person.
We might talk about Electro Woman and Donna Girl later on. So hang on, that might come up.
So our next story comes to us from NBC News. So this story is kind of an update.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's their logo.
The peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel. Oh, God damn it.
What did it say?
Cancel music.
Did it say order more butt plugs? Oh my God, Kevin. What kind of freaky shit are you into?
No comment.
What's the right amount of butt plugs?
Oh, that is a good question.
Sounded like it was a lie. It said order a pallet of butt plugs for personal use.
It's weird.
Are you just throwing them away each time afterwards?
Yeah.
Well, your dishwasher.
I don't want to clean them off. So this story is sort of an update. Way back in episode 3, we had a story discussing the latest burial technique legalized in Washington State: human composting.
Oh, is this about a lich?
We did talk about liches back.
Does that happen?
Well, there is. When we get to the end, there may be an occult angle here, actually.
Witchy Poo.
So now the state of Colorado has jumped onto the human composting bandwagon. Last year, Colorado legalized...
Fucking posers.
Last year, Colorado legalized the composting of human remains, and late last month, a funeral home buried Colorado's first legally composted human being. To compost a person, they placed their remains in an air-filtered chamber with wood chips, alfalfa, straw, and, quote,
buckwheat, spanky, stymie.
Right.
And,
they
quote,
refuse to compost little rascals. They just use them to compost other. It's just their corpses. Poor Darla's propped up in the corner.
And, quote, a lot of microbial beings. And then over 6 months, they pretty much follow the same process you'd follow for composting soil. The story said that one body ultimately makes enough compost to fill the bed of a pickup truck. The soil was then spread around at the Colorado Burial Preserve, 40 miles south of Colorado Springs. Like the previous story, the one we just told, not the one from episode 3, there might also be an occult angle here. The story mentioned that the remains began composting on the autumnal equinox, which is traditionally the first day of fall, and they were deposited at the burial preserve on the vernal equinox, which is traditionally the first day of spring, and both dates have significant meaning for occult religions.
You know what I mean, Vernal? I wasn't going to laugh at that, but then I did.
The service that composted the body said the process has, quote, gotta wait for Brian.
I'm not normally so pleased with myself.
You haven't been this happy with yourself since grass, or what is it? Ass, gas, or gratis.
All right.
I think this episode just got a title.
Okay. The service that composted the body said the process has, quote, no appreciable carbon emissions or release of toxic fumes in contrast to flame cremation, and it does not, quote, take up any real estate as a conventional burial might. However, Colorado state law prohibits the mixing of human remains with commercially sold soil.
Well, that just makes sense.
They didn't get to compost the dude, or they did?
They did compost him. They put him in the compost on the autumnal equinox, and then he was all mulch by the vernal equinox, and they spread him out over the burial.
Said it again. I just wanted to. It's not as funny the second time, but it's still fun to say.
They spread him out at the burial preserve, and the only thing is, they can't mix his mulch with commercial mulch.
What can you do with his mulch? The man mulch, which is I've always referred to something else as man mulch, but
what is that? I don't understand.
Just sometimes you have to clean up your man mulch. You know what it is I'm saying. So what do they do with this man mulch?
They spread it at a burial preserve.
It sounds like it takes up a lot of space because you can't do anything else with it.
No, you can do whatever you want with it. You just can't sell it. Like I could be like, hey, Brian, I could pull up to Brian's place. Brian's got some flowers, and be like, hey, Brian, I brought you some mulch.
Some flowers.
Lots of flowers at his house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I could just be like, hey, Brian, I got this great new mulch for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just, I'll help you spread it in the flower beds. Got a whole truckload back here.
I wouldn't trust you if you came over and said that.
Yeah, if you had...
even without knowing this story, that seems a little weird. You're a little too horny to help mulch stuff.
Right. I'm just showed up with a truck bed full of mulch. You had to rent the truck. You don't have a truck.
Yeah. Why
do you have a truck, Kevin? Why is it full of mulch? What's going on?
Because I'm a giving person, Brian. I just want you to have the best...
Why does it have a greenish glow about it?
I want you to have the best yard in the neighborhood.
Why do I feel a deep sense of foreboding every time I walk near the truck?
Yeah.
Like the mulch is haunting your soul?
What do I hear? Whispers in the back of my head. What's happening?
I mean, that sounds like a good process. It is very insane to me that it's not insane because we've been doing it so long. I understand that people are used to it. But if you take a step back and look at burial, it's kind of nutty. Like it's kind of a weird, like,
oh yeah,
I'm going to put all this money into hollowing out the body of this person and waxing it up, and they look all unnatural.
When you say waxing, what do you mean?
Well, I don't know if it is wax, but don't they? I mean, there's weird stuff on the lips that looks like the bodies look waxy.
Right.
And then, I mean, I don't know. Like, this isn't a hard stance, but like it does seem to me like you're throwing all this money into this thing that like every dead body that I've ever seen at a funeral, I don't really appreciate having seen. Like I kind of would have rather not seen them. That the embalmed body, I think I would have been better off not seeing for the most
Well,
part.
you say wax, and it really is like going to a wax museum. It's almost the same. Like, oh, that's a close likeness.
Yes.
Okay.
They're
Even though
very,
it's a real person, it's just
spackled with like makeup and stuff like that.
So what I hear you saying is you could do a better job.
Well, I mean, I'm still into the catapult idea
oh yeah,
from way back when.
I forgot about the catapult.
Now, can you remind us?
You just put a body in a catapult and load it up with fire. I mean, just a bunch of black cats or M80s or whatever, lady fingers maybe.
Oh yeah.
And you just light it, wait for the fuse, throw it up, it goes up in the air, it blows up, and then that's and then y'all hang out afterwards. I don't know.
What about the person it lands
Do it
on?
over the sea. Do it over a lake.
Right.
Okay.
I would enjoy seeing you explode in midair.
No muss, no fuss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a weird thing, and there's also the racket of like, yeah, you gotta get the nice coffin. What are you gonna do? Get the second best coffin?
Didn't you love your nana?
Yeah, and it's just this weird thing of like, what a weird racket of like, well, this one has rims. You don't want to get a coffin that just has a standard hubcaps. You got to get the nice rims. Yeah, didn't you love her? And it's just like a weird.
All the other ghouls are gonna laugh at your grandma.
It is very like environmentally, like it is kind of a weird, like we're
right.
But I don't know. I do understand the idea of like having a place and why people would want a place to go.
We kind of
be with that, but
I'm gonna warn you right now. I have next week's episode written already, or part of it anyway. One of the stories, and we're gonna get back into this next week.
Okay, cool. Well, let's move on.
So for listeners, this is just pretend this is part 1 of 2 on us talking about death.
I got some real hot cemetery takes I want to share. So I'm looking forward to that. Some real strong opinions about cemeteries.
Yeah, especially those that are for pets.
Got a nor'easter blowing through.
And whether or not I want to be buried there.
Ground sour, right?
Ground sour. Indians.
The ground sour.
Our next story comes to us. This was submitted to us by Dave Sherrill. And Dave was a former guest on the show. He sends us stories from time to time. So thanks, Dave.
The only good Ohioan I've ever met.
But you mean this? You're talking about me, right?
No, Dave. Dave, the only decent person in Ohio I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh no, he's from
I've
Texas.
ever been around.
The only one that's not filled with a bloodlust of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But go check out Dave's website at what is it, arrowheadcanton.com. Look at his paintings. Got some good ones.
Yes, I have one very nearby.
You have a print or you have a painting?
I have a painting. He did a painting for Doug and I's show, Excelsior, every first Thursday.
Here we God damn it.
We'll talk about that at the end of the episode.
Oh, no. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about it several times between now and the end of the episode.
So this next story that Dave sent us comes to us.
Well, I won't be able to do Excelsior this week because I'm on tour with the Draculas from April 9th through the 18th through the Midwest.
This is good cross promotion.
Promoting our new record, Terminal Amusements.
All right, that's good. Terminal Music.
Wherever you can get your records.
Like a Mattel cartoon, we exist to sell the toy.
I think that Transformers was a great cartoon.
Of course you do.
I'm sure there's a couple people who think this is great. And there's even more people who are just happy for mic updates.
So,
like a tornado siren.
Listen, if we have a big fan base, we have to appease the whole fan base.
It is international. We did cast a wide net, Mike. So
our next story comes to us from Yahoo News. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's
I also
disease.
like news. Yahoo indeed.
Huzzah news. Yippee news.
Excelsior News.
God damn it.
That would be pretty good. It's crazy. I run a show called Excelsior. It's every first Thursday. You heard me.
You don't even know the name of your own show.
I missed out on my fucking alpha pills. I've already said that multiple times.
You've been very foggy.
Yahoo News. ALS.
Yay.
ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a neurodegenerative disease that results in the progressive loss of motor neurons that control voluntary muscles. Sufferers of ALS can degenerate rapidly to the point where they lose all muscular control and even the ability to control their eyes. People with ALS have an average life expectancy after diagnosis of 2 to 5 years, though they can live much longer. For example, Stephen Hawking lived 55 years after his ALS diagnosis. One question that plagued researchers was whether communication was possible for ALS sufferers who have lost all voluntary muscular control. In 2019, 2 electrodes were implanted into the brain of a 36-year-old ALS sufferer in Geneva, Switzerland, and now he's responded with his first complete sentence. Using the brain implant, the man has now communicated, quote, "I want a beer." He also asked to listen to the band Tool, quote, loud, requested a head massage from his mother, and ordered a curry.
This guy's pretty cool.
Those are good things. I get it.
Yeah. I'm not like a big Tool fan, but they pass. They're cool.
Yeah, you like that video?
They got that one song, right?
Composing sentences this way is very slow and takes about 1 minute per character. The man went through a training period where initially he could only respond with binary answers like yes or no, then single words, and now complete sentences. He was also able to interact with his 4-year-old son and wife, generating the message, quote, "I love my cool son." One of the doctors involved said, quote, "This study answers a long-standing question about whether people with complete locked-in syndrome who have lost all voluntary muscle control, including movement of the eyes or mouth, also lose the ability of their brain to generate commands for communication."
Well, think of all the people who've had ALS that didn't get electrodes.
Yet.
And just couldn't. Well, no, they're dead. They only lived 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Hawking lived a long time.
Lou Gehrig was a great ball player.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much for sure.
I've only seen the Lou Gehrig story. I don't actually know anything about him beyond that.
For the international listener, Lou Gehrig was a famous American baseball player. Played first base for the New York Yankees back in the late 20s and 30s, I believe.
And acquired Lou Gehrig's disease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are the odds?
Man, that's the scariest.
It's like being
that
named Epstein-Barr, and then you get Epstein-Barr.
Obviously, alpha brain monkey mindset pills are going to wipe most of that out. But if there's a more holistic approach, obviously, like I've been out of my pills.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's an international crisis keeping me from being my least foggiest.
And to be fair, the crisis is you not getting your wolf gland.
Yes.
Right.
I wish that there were more wolves that grew up around nuclear fallout.
Mm-hmm.
But there aren't. And we're trying to do stuff to change that, you know?
Right.
But, you can only do so much so fast.
How many pills does one gland produce?
Yeah.
Oh, a good 11, 12.
And each wolf has one gland.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you take out the gland and then you take out the gland and then you let the wolf go on its own. It just does its own thing after that.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it does its own thing, and then it goes over the Rainbow Bridge. I don't know. I do like. I think like ALS and stuff like that is my big.
Yeah.
My one of the fears for sure. I guess anything is pretty scary, but those seem to be like a lot more scary than the other ones.
Right. Yeah. Well, at least
or also that and getting killed by Slender Man. Are my most things that worry me.
Right. Well, and that only tells people just how terrified of ALS you are, because it's Slender Man. Yeah.
So our next story is a bonus story. So if you want to hear it, go to our Patreon and subscribe at least the $3 level. That's the Knights of Kevin level. And you can get access to this and all our other bonus stories.
There's at least 3 of them by now, right?
There's dozens. There's probably 20 at least.
We need to harvest that content.
Give you a little taste. This might be the most touching story we've ever done, and also one of the weirdest.
Oh, whoa! And I'm intrigued.
We're double dipping.
Are you intrigued
in emotions?
Enough to be
weird is an emotion.
A Knight of Kevin subscriber.
I'm digging through my pockets for a mere $3 to hear,
dude,
this touching story.
We don't let Brian listen to the episodes.
Crazy, dumb things you spend more than $3 on.
A cup of coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
13 gumballs.
I just think that I think this $3 is a bargain to keep this podcast in business and off the streets.
Mm-hmm. This is the chief marketing arm of Shazam.
Are you
it can't go away.
Podcast? It's not Shazam. It's called Excelsior. But somebody came up to me the other day that hadn't seen me in a long time, and they said, I haven't seen you in a long time, but it feels like I've hung out with you so much because I've been listening to the podcast a lot.
Oh.
And did you even know that person?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, you know what? That's a good person.
Yeah. It was Jeff Burke.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's a good person.
He pretended he didn't know me. He listens to the same podcast.
Well, he takes alpha brain monkey mindset pills too, so he's going through the same problem I have. So there's a little bit of fogginess.
Okay. So this episode drops on April 13th. Does anybody have anything coming up? Mark?
Oh, yeah. I got a show on April 15th in Austin at
Hotel
Vegas. Yeah.
Which of your bands is playing?
Vidicon, and it's an early show.
Oh, nice.
So it's it starts at 7.
We asked Mark, we asked Mike earlier, and he didn't seem to have anything. So I think that wraps it up, right?
Let's hear it. Here it comes.
Oh.
Let's go.
Was that wrong?
I got stuff.
Like what?
I'll still be on tour.
Water balloon fight, or
I'll still be on tour with Dracula's
that's
and
right.
Bad Cop, and Fea. We'll be on tour still. There's still dates from the 13th all the way to I think the 18th. We'll still be playing shows out there in America.
Are tickets still available?
Tickets are still available in most locations.
Where can people find those tour dates?
They can find them on Dracula's Facebook page or Instagram page. It's Dracula's with a K, or Twitter, or mine. Just go to any of my social media stuff. Excelsior is every first Thursday. You can see that. Then the Riverboat Gamblers are going to be in California, San Diego, Cinco de Mayo with Manic Hispanic and the Swinging Utters. That's May.
That's a show.
6th and 5th and 6th, I believe.
That wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. We'll send you stickers if your first thoughts transmitted on an electrode are, quote, I want to listen to INS. Check out the INS merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
And if you come to a show, I'll have a sticker for you and mention it.
Oh, and a postcard, right?
And a postcard, yes.
Nice.
Ask him about Shazam.
No, I won't answer anything about that. I'll get mad.
Ask him about Shazam.
You don't want to make me mad. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Mm-hmm. Especially when he's... Hopefully you get your pills before the tour.
Dude, I might be fucking weird out there.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.